Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have a lot of big Xbox news to go and cover over here, where number one, we have some really big news on the future of Xbox consoles and basically what they're going to be selling, how they're going to be selling it, which also kind of drives up a little bit of a concern. We're going to go talk about that throughout the video. We also have some pretty big and also somewhat confirmation too from Phil Spencer that Call of Duty actually and all these other various Activision games should be also coming to Game Pass. There was a little bit of a somewhat back and forth and people kind of concerned that it may not come in the future, even though like most people were assuming they would. Kind of like one of those like we just don't know until we know, but this is basically us now knowing because we are now in the know because Phil Spencer told us what the know is, if that makes sense, and just a lot of other little various Xbox news. So if you guys will all sit back, relax, and enjoy, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below if you guys would like to follow. We'd love to have you guys there or on the channel itself. And of course, sign up for Weeble, deposit any bit of money. You guys get a bunch of free stock and money. People keep on doing a bunch, and you guys get a bunch of free money. Just sell it, withdraw it, do whatever, make an extra $100 or like 5 minutes of work. Go for it if you guys want. And I appreciate y'all for watching. Let's go and dive on into the video itself. So very first and foremost, I want to go and say a few kind of bigger, like kind of big key points for the videos. Is number one, we have now kind of seen Phil Spencer do a bit of a media tour. As you guys probably have seen, we saw Phil Spencer. They had like that big business interview and talked about a lot of these big updates and like what they want to do for the future, expanding the Xbox brand, bringing these games to PlayStation, all that type of stuff. But one big thing to note is that people were very concerned about if the Xbox is going to go pure digital. Now, I talked about this a decent amount of my videos itself, and I still kind of think they are pushing towards that. Like, regardless of what's being said, but I think this is more on the damage control where it's like, hey, like, we're still doing it. But it's like the damage control where like they're basically trying to like, they're going to phase it out. I feel like they probably will at some point phase it out. For number one, we are now seeing this where the Xbox chief Phil Spencer says Microsoft isn't giving up on physical media just yet. Getting rid of physical is not a strategic thing, says Spencer in an interview over here. Now, I've had a few different quotes, and I'll have a chance to highlight some of these. But one of the bigger quotes over here is saying that there was a big, like, we had the big leaks when it came to Microsoft making their Xbox digital only. People were assuming, and this is the big part, where like Walmart, Best Buy, and Target are like just not selling physical discs anymore, that they're going to probably phase out actual game storage because Xbox made the call on that themselves. We know that from leaked memos. So people are like assuming they're on the way on the phase out. I still stand by that they're on the way of the phase out. They're going to at some point make all consoles mostly digital, get the maybe detachable disk drive, kind of how PlayStation's doing. And the next, I'd say like 10, 15 years, it's probably going to be gone. Now, for the next console iteration, it'll probably be kept there. We have the detachable thing too as well. Like, it's going to still be around, still be relevant. But why else would they get rid of games at Walmart, Best Buy, Target, and just a lot of physical discs? Why do we have an Xbox Series S already? Like, it's already made, it's already been out. That's purely digital if they're not going to try to phase it out. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But I think right now it's on the damage control side, where he's saying, basically here, we ship games physically and digitally, and we're really just following what customers are doing. And I think our job as running Xbox is to deliver on the things that a majority of the customers want. And right now, a majority of our customers are buying games digitally. So once again, they're just trying to go do some like saving face. We have a chance to go talk about this too as well. Saying is Xbox leaving games behind. Basically, you guys kind of probably got the big high picture of this one, where they're saying they're favoring digital downloads. Most people are buying digitally. We don't need to make as many physical, which also kind of goes in is like, not necessarily supporting their comments saying we're not going to get rid of physical. They still are, but like the levels have dropped. Like if you're not in Walmart, Target, Best Buy, which are probably the big like walk-through stores, but you're still selling games digitally, like it's just kind of like, hey, the stocks are like it's just self-explanatory. This thing is Xbox leaving discs behind. In Spencer's interview with Totillo, the two also touched on the nature of physical games and concerns that Xbox intends to leave behind players with physical libraries. There is no concrete answers right now, but Spencer didn't indicate that they are leaving players behind. So once again, I feel like he's in that awkward middle ground where people that want physical games want physical games. People that are purely digital do not care. They're going to have their games regardless. They'll be buying on the Xbox store, Game Pass, streaming, whatever it might be. They're like, they don't care. They're covered. They're chilling. They're getting their games. And that's still what they even kind of just said in the quote I just showed you guys. That is like where the majority is. Majority of people are just downloading games digitally. I'm also a part of that. Like I'll own up to it. Like I'm someone who mainly goes and does digital downloads. But I also like physical. There are some physical games. I have a PS5 Disc Edition. I haven't had a disc drive on my PC in like 10 years. I mean, I'll be honest in that too. So I don't mind if everything goes digital, but there is also that subsection of people who like to resell games, rent games, loan out games to friends, collect games, collectibles. So like there is also like a demographic there, and I always want to fight for that too because it makes sense. And it does seem like Xbox, once again, removing all these games from like Walmart, Best Buy, Target. Yeah, that's rough. Like they're just pretty much gonzo. So basically saying, yeah, like Spencer basically said he's not leaving players behind, but they kind of are on the phase out regardless. We are supportive of physical media, but we don't have a need to drive that disproportionate to consumer demand. Basically saying like, hey, like most people are on digital. We don't need to worry about most of these physical disc people because people are on digital. Like we could probably just phase it out 100%, not care, because those people, if they want to keep playing our games, will probably just go and download digital. Most people have the internet. Most people have credit cards. Most people have debit cards, or as well, you could walk to a store and get a prepaid card for like Microsoft points or Game Pass, those cards, subscription things or whatever. You're probably fine. Spencer says, we ship games physically and digitally. We're just following what the customers are doing. And I think our job in running Xbox is to deliver on the things that a majority of the customers want. And right now, as we mentioned before in the part quote, are buying games digitally, which I mean, it's just like ease of access, ease to pop in. Why not? But I will say our strategy does not hinge on people moving all digital, he said. And getting rid of physical, that's not a strategic thing for us. So as much as I'm kind of being a naysayer on this video, let's run this up to good. Because right now it seems like Phil Spencer is saying we can go and like we don't need this. Like most of our customers want digital. We don't need to sell physical. But at the same time, they're like, hey, we have to get an extra 15, 20% on sales, whatever numbers they might be. If they never go public, so we're not sure. Why not? Like, sure, we can go and still sell our games, whether from like the Microsoft store on Amazon, maybe Walmart.com, just not in physical walkthroughs, whatever it might be. Like maybe even actual some certain games want to, some games want to maybe go digital. It just depends on what they want to do. Does it make sense? I also had a chance to say that Jez Gordon also said that he heard Microsoft was shutting down teams responsible for shipping the physical versions of games. And more recently, we've heard that they are not removing the capability, but instead consolidating the teams responsible, something that Spencer seemingly affirmed to Totillo. Then go and state, so we have teams that are in charge of physical retail, inclusive of selling games in physical outlets. So that's what that team action is. It wasn't about us getting rid of capability, Spencer said. So there's a little bit of a clarification saying, and this still is kind of what my main thought is, that they're on the phase out period. And I've been saying some of most of my videos for the past like week or 2 weeks as we've been discussing this. It's still going to probably have like an Xbox drive, disk drive on the next console. The PlayStation's probably going to either have a similar digital pure console, and then they have like these detachable disk drives, which have apparently been leaked for Xbox 2 for the next upcoming console. And with all of this, they're going to be pushing a lot more, especially more on the Xbox side, Game Pass, streaming games, and digital downloads on the Xbox store and Microsoft website store. And that just makes sense. Like they are getting rid of all the physical copies of games, like Walmart, Best Buy, Target. That's already happened. That's been confirmed a few months ago. We saw confirmations. You go to a lot of your Walmart stores, or at least throughout the next year, you will probably not see as many physical disc games. Same with like Best Buy. We saw a lot of them kind of get rid of physical media too as well. So regardless of what they are, and we've had confirmation that Xbox were the people who made that final call, it is done. Like we're in the phase out period, and it may take 15 years, like a while to go for it. But at the end of the day, it's going to happen. And I think that's somewhat okay. I like collecting games. I like having a physical game. And I'm not sure if that would drive up the value more or like lower the value. But at the same time, at least we also have always had really good game preservation with emulation available on like PC. And like, how Xbox always like the cross console stuff. It makes a lot of sense. So at the end of the day, like I'm kind of 50-50. Like I think it's nice that we're confirming that they're going to be having games long term. It's nice to see this. But although even like people in some of the comments are saying, hey, like if this refresher still has this disk drive as well, people are saying there's not going to be any new holiday options too. Some people are saying there's going to be like, only for like the physical. Like right now, Xbox has a bundle of like, we can do this, 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 and this, and they're not making the final call. But I do think long term, they will phase out physical games. I think they will try to keep on pushing Game Pass because it's been like their basically big successor and revenue number. And if they do decide to skip this mid-console refresher, I do think the next one's going to probably be purely digital with a detachable disk drive, very similar to the PlayStation as it is right now with the Slim. And I think that's okay as long as it's still providing the options for people who want it and people who want to have those collectible editions, physical editions, and have physical discs, or also even have games from like Xbox 360 games. I think they still deserve to have a chance to have it at the end of the day. So I want to hear your thoughts and comments on all this. I kind of focus a bit more on like the game console vibe itself instead of the other news. We may do that for a separate video later on tonight, so be on the lookout for that. But I appreciate y'all so much for watching. I love you guys all for existing, and hope you guys have a good day. Follow the Twitter, follow the Twitch down below. We have the Weeble if you guys want to sign up, get a bunch of money. Give me your thoughts on all this. A little bit of a ramble, but I want to hear your thoughts on everything all down below. Appreciate you guys.